Hey guys, all right, I got a good question for you today.
Yep.
Where, if you wanted to, where could you learn about how to be a witch?
Sokovian fortune teller.
Jimmy Woo's close-up
You'd think.
magic.
No, you would just go to Wikipedia.
Because it's
There's
spelled
Mount-
Wicca.
Wikipedia. Yeah. No.
Closing the YouTube account
All right, we'll see you guys.
today.
Yep.
Gonna-
Thanks
Thanks,
for
thanks for
tuning in.
watching for this short amount of time.
Just like WandaVision, the Real Heroes show is a limited series. Oh man, welcome back everybody. Another episode of the Real Heroes show. Got Corey, Nick, and Kevin here again. And to pull a line from, I think it's episode 5, it's a very special episode of the show today, because we're putting in our final predictions and questions for WandaVision. It's been somehow, because time is a flat circle, 8 weeks already since this show came out, and it's already over this week. It's kind of crazy. So we're gonna dive right into it. Most of our theories have been completely wrong, which is a lot of fun, which means that these videos are essentially pointless, but we enjoy recording them. We hope you enjoy listening to them. So we're gonna do it one more time. We're gonna swing for the fences here, and share some theories. So Kevin, I think you led off during the review of the episode, so Nick, I'm gonna let you take the first swing at it this week.
Cool. Yeah. To our defense, I think we've been right about a few things,
A couple.
several things. So for that sense, I mean, again, with a show like this, who knows what we're gonna get right or wrong.
Right.
It's still fun nonetheless.
Absolutely.
I think, and that's what makes the show great. And I think future shows from the MC will be just the same. So one of the questions I have is, which I think everyone should be asking, and I'm sure everyone is asking, is what don't we know? There's a lot, particularly with a theory of, from Agatha's standpoint, right, is why is her dark magic stronger than the entire coven? You know, because it's like, where did she discover, practice it? Because she's being charged for crimes of the darkest of magics, which is, I guess, purple, but still doesn't necessarily hold a candle to chaos magic.
Right.
Because
We can finally say chaos magic.
yeah, the fact that we can say that too
It's canon now.
Marvel.
is canon, exactly. So, and I think the colors are really interesting because if you think about it, we've got Agatha, who is purple magic, and I was kind of, I don't want to say this is a stretch by any means, but it's almost like the magic colors are reminiscent of the Infinity Stones.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, there's chaos magic, which is red. You've got the mystic arts magic from Doctor Strange, which is orange,
Yeah.
from the soul
Yellowy
gem.
gold, Yeah.
The blue was from the coven. Green, Loki.
The time stone. When Doctor
Yeah.
Strange does that.
So the only thing we maybe haven't seen is like a legit yellow magic. So who knows? I'm
man,
not
and
too,
Wanda's is red, which is like the reality stone.
right. And she
made up a
shifts
fake reality.
reality.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So I'm like, is that intentional? Because it kind of seems like it, but again, we'll find out.
Well, now that you mention that, though, Agatha just pops right out with, oh, well, you came in touch with an Infinity Stone, and it's
she
like,
knows about it.
most of humanity at this point is familiar with who Thanos is, but did they
Right.
just give everybody on the planet like a crash course in what Infinity Stones are or were?
They rewrote
Probably
them
not. So
already.
Yeah.
she had to have had some previous knowledge of Infinity Stones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to think like she's been practicing magic for hundreds of years now, and we said before, like the last episode, Wanda's had zero training. So it's like you said, Corey, imagine if she had
I know.
like one course of magic training or witch training, like just
Just
she didn't know-
101.
she didn't know what rune spells were on the wall. Like a simplistic thing that people kind of know about maybe, but or how from playing a video game, I'd say, if anything. But there's still a lot we don't know from Agatha, right? Like the book that had the magic glowing around it, that wasn't talked about. That wasn't even looked at in this episode. I also, I guess it's a like that I had too. I might have forgotten to say, but her costume at the end was pretty identical to the way it was in the comics.
Yep.
Which I loved. But again, why the sudden urge to change into that at the very end, while she's holding Tommy and Billy, by the throats from her magic, right? So
it could be because at that point she's using every bit of her power to kind of hold Wanda off and to hold on to the kids and all that kind of stuff. And like she was saying with Wanda has the set it and forget it magic, right?
Yeah,
she doesn't. So maybe it's taken all of her concentration and she just couldn't continue to concentrate on making herself look a different way.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing with the Scarlet Witch being canonized now, and I think this might tie into the expectations that we've set for ourselves, right? Like, we might not be getting mutants. We might be getting the route of Wanda being retconned, in the comics to being an actual witch or a sorcerer or sorceress. And if that's the case, when are we going to get mutants? It might not be this phase. It might not be till phase 5, which, kind of sucks to a degree, but there's a lot of story, and I want to give some credit and kind of put my faith in Kevin Feige that he does have a plan for everything. So it's like, it's almost like, guys, just be patient. Like, we just got the rights to everything and we need time to kind of build this up while we've been planning at everything else for the better part of a decade. And so there's got to be this continuity inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, again, I know, like, this is, like, what we see isn't going to be identical to the comics. Like, it never will be.
No, of course.
And I say anyone that's maybe similar to my stance on comics is whenever they sort of draw stuff from the source material, it's fascinating, it's fun, it's exciting. So with that in mind, who the hell's Pietro or fake Pietro? Because Agatha clarifies, yeah, I just found him because your real brother, he's on another continent with holes in his body, so
couldn't use him.
I don't have the ability to bring him back from the dead like you do, apparently. So I don't know where his body came from, and I think at that point, Evan Peters isn't going to be at Quicksilver, which it might be a little disappointing. It could have just been a cameo for that sake, but I think that could be.
Well, he's still hanging around somewhere.
Well,
so which raises the question too. Like,
we didn't see Monica when he was like, "Yeah, Snooper's going to snoop." Didn't see.
And so, sorry to interrupt, but you're just bringing up such a good point here. If Evan Peters was nothing other than, Pietro was nothing other than a ploy from her, and then how in the hell is he strong enough to do something with Spectrum, Photon, whatever we're going to call her at this point? Because otherwise she would have been around during all of this, right? So he's obviously secreted her away somewhere, and if the only other thing that I can think is, she's had just changed herself to look like him. But if that was the case, then she couldn't have also been in the basement at the same time that he was outside. So
right.
It also means that she's got super speed.
Exactly.
Does she? I don't know.
There's more to him than they're letting on. There has to be right now. He can't just be some, Joe Schmo from Westview. He's got to be something else.
Yeah. In our last prediction too, I think I even said that Pietro could possibly be Mephisto in hiding, impersonating him in just a weird different form. So who knows? I thought it was interesting. We didn't see Monica at all this episode. So I imagine we'll get that in the finale. The last thing I'll say is this: why did Director Hayward? He obviously lied to us, right, about Wanda, but he said not everyone can bring someone back online. Oh, I'm sorry, back to life. Like, yo, how do you know she can do that when she's only been back for weeks?
He was poking at her big time. He wanted her to do that.
Exactly. But the fact that, like, how does she know, or how does he know that she could do that when she was gone for 5 years? Like, I don't know if they were just theorizing that she could do this or
She
what.
hadn't done it before.
That's what I'm saying. It kind of seems a little sus, where I'm like, is Hayward really an actual bad guy in disguise this entire time? Like,
Mephisto confirmed.
Yeah, like
if that doesn't happen, I'll be pissed. Cancel my Disney Plus.
Yeah, right.
It's
I don't know. I'm still a little sus about him, even though we know he's an asshole. I don't know. It seemed off, and again, it could just been like one of those, poking to see if he could, trick Wanda into bringing him back online right then and there, even though he's in like a ton of pieces and all disconnected. But I don't know. That was like the last thing I thought of, and just kind of felt off to me.
All right, Kevin, it's your turn, sir. The floor is yours. Enlighten us.
I still think that there's a lot of possibility here when it comes to what you can do with SWORD as an organization. Not just anybody would have the tools and resources and know-how to remake Vision, who was actually made in the first place by Ultron.
Yep.
Right. So, and they're going to say, okay, look, this guy who was just in pieces over here, who's basically pulled apart, wires hanging out, made of vibranium, like all this kind of shit. And we just put him back together. All right. So who's doing that? Who's the smart guy in the room?
And they said they've done it a bunch of times, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so who's the smart guy in the room that was able to do all of that kind of stuff? That's kind of what I'm curious about. There is still, and I'm giving up hope on this, but there is still a possibility that we could have a Reed Richards or Victor Von Doom tie in there. There's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
And I think to have them working for SWORD actually makes a lot of sense. But that's not the theory of mine for this week. This is actually not necessarily my theory. I think it's from comicbook.com, but it made a hell of a lot of sense. And it actually has to do more with Paul Bettany and his comments about the actor that he got to work with.
Oh yeah,
that he was so excited about.
I know where you're going with this.
Thank you to my fiance Sydney for pointing this out to me, because she actually showed me the article. But it might just be that he's excited to work with himself. There's going to be 2 Visions in the Hex.
Yeah.
Very soon. And if you really look at what he said there's somebody I've been dying to work with my entire life. Not my entire career, my entire life. The chemistry was just amazing. It was fireworks, like all this kind of stuff.
Sarcastic, like,
given his sense of humor, it makes a lot of sense that he's just winding us up. And he was excited to work with himself. So, that's one possibility. I'm beginning to think less and less that we're going to see Professor Xavier, although it's still a possibility, and I think it could. Yeah. I think he could be a post-credits or mid-credits little surprise cameo at the end of next episode.
I hope we get 2 credit scenes.
But I think it's becoming more and more likely that we're just going to see Doctor Strange. And not that
I do too
about that, but what other way to transition from this to Multiverse of Madness that we know Wanda is part of, than for him to pop up at the end of this and say, "Hey, listen, you got to come with me."
Yeah.
I'm here to protect this reality, and you are actually threatening that reality at this point more than anybody else. So you're going to have to come with me.
And I think there's I think it was at the very first or second theory video we did. I thought that he might come in at the end and be like, "What did you do?" Sort of thing. Like, you just turned an entire town into a different reality. Like, you need to stop because you could affect the entire planet at this point. So yeah, that is pretty interesting though.
And it could be more than "what did you do" kind of thing, and it could be more of hey, I see the potential here now. I'm gonna have to train you. You know, you can't do this on your own. You're gonna need some help. Let me help.
No, how dope would it be if they went to like Kamertage and trained Wanda? Oh man.
And I think that's becoming more and more likely. It's not necessarily what I want to see.
Yeah.
Because you have your own movie for that, Steven. But what I'd really like to see, you know, obviously, is the other shit that I've been talking about for weeks now that I think is just less and less likely. But anyway, that's where we're at.
Interesting. Well, obviously, Norman Osborn is showing up. Tobey Maguire is going to be there as Spider-Man. Ben Affleck's Batman is going to pop up at some point.
Oh my God. Martha's going to be there.
Martha's going to show up. The twist is actually that
Kevin Costner.
He's coming back from the dead. Wanda brought him back. Luke Skywalker is going to show up. The Mandalorian's
Palpatine's the real sorcerer.
He's been behind the curtain the whole time with his pickled Snokes doing his thing.
Oh my God.
How many weird theories can I come up with that don't make any sense?
Well, the only person that can save the day, if we're going down that route, is Rey.
Daisy Ridley's going to pop up with 13 lightsabers attached to one hilt and mow down the entire Sword Organization.
Sword Order.
Oh, you know what's going to happen?
Sworder.
She's going to do the little Doctor Strange thing with all the arms, and each one is going to be holding a lightsaber.
Yeah, and then every Jedi from the past canon is going to come through them, like the portal scene, and like Malik and Revan and all those guys are going to show up, and it's just the finale is going to be 6 hours long. I don't know.
Sure, of course.
Yeah,
trilogy-esque.
Better take off work on Friday. It's going to be a long day. it's Snyder cutting. Like, oh, they're changing the aspect ratio to 4:3 because they shot it for IMAX, a la Zack Snyder. I'm saying all this because I really don't have much to go off of anymore. Literally everything that I've said, most of it hasn't come to fruition, which is fine. But I think the kids, the thing with the kids and with Vision that Agatha brings up, the spontaneous creation, I think they are real. I don't think they're manifestations. I think her saying that to a degree confirms that, and I think that the kids will make it out of this alive, and
I do too.
Set the stage for the Young Avengers, which they've planted seeds with. They're doing a Kate Bishop show. They're doing a Miss Marvel show. Ant-Man's daughter is probably going to be up in there too. So I think they're setting up the Young Avengers. So I think that they're actually going to end up being real by the end of this. The whole Paul Bettany thing is hysterical, and God, I will, if that's actually what it is, that'd be terrific. And I think there's a very good chance that, like you guys had said, Kevin Feige has said on multiple occasions that this show goes directly into Doctor Strange 2. Kevin Feige never says anything that doesn't have some form of intent behind it. So I think that whether it's 1 credit scene or 2 credit scenes or 36 credit scenes, one of them will have a Doctor Strange tie-in. Whether or not it's Doctor Strange showing up at the end to help solve the problem of the show, or him showing up to train Wanda, or it could even be something like Baron Mordo showing up, because at the end of the original Doctor Strange movie, he says there are too many sorcerers.
Yeah.
And now we have one that is a mythical sorcerer that has ridiculous magic capabilities. Maybe he'll show up, and it sets the scene for that. Maybe we'll get a nightmare set up for Doctor Strange 2. There's a whole lot of different ways they could go. At this point, I'm kind of just retiring from predictions, and I'm just gonna like sit back and enjoy the episode and see where
Done
it goes.
with the
but
theories.
Almost.
Well, you know, if you look at their track record, Marvel has a really good way of introducing a concept
Mhm.
and then letting it percolate. And I'm not talking about letting it percolate for 6 months. I'm talking about letting it percolate for 7 years.
Yeah, Thanos.
Exactly.
Yep.
Before you see him, you know, actually get a starring role or something like that. So, you know, even if the cameo that we get is Mephisto, it could be Mephisto just in a post-credit scene, just so that you know he exists, just like they did with Thanos. It could be that we're going to get to see you know, something with Nightmare talking to Thanos. I'm sorry, Nightmare talking to Mephisto.
Right.
Yep.
That it would be the post-credit scene. Like, okay, what are we going to do about this shit, you know, kind of thing. And if that's the case, then that's cool, because that sets it up for Nightmare to move into the next film, and for Mephisto to be on the back burner, building.
Maybe to recruit Wanda.
Right. And having Mephisto in the background kind of pulling strings, that's cool, because it kind of also starts to set the stage for stuff like Blade, and, you know, if they wanted to bring Ghost Rider in, and, you know, a bunch of that other crazy shit that could happen. So there's a lot of ways to go with it. And, you know, like you said, Corey, you just kind of got to trust Kevin Feige. He hasn't really let us down yet.
Imagine a mid-credit scene where it's just down in hell. Mephisto's got his robe on. He's eating popcorn. He's watching his OLED TV. He's watching WandaVision. He's just like, shit, man, we got to do something about this. We got to get that girl. She could be good for us.
Yeah, it's highly possible.
I mean, maybe not the whole robe and popcorn thing, but like, there's a chance, you know, that like maybe she wasn't on their radar and now she will be, and that might be the first act of Doctor Strange 2.
Who knows? It'd be badass to see, you know, just kind of in the back. You know how we got to see stuff like Howard the Duck and things like that in the past. Just a little glimpse of Ghost Rider down in hell. Something like that.
Which Ghost Rider would it be? Would it be the Reyes Ghost Rider, or
it would just
Johnny
be the
Blaze?
Spirit of Vengeance, right?
Okay.
It would just have to be the spirit, and kind of see who he embodies when he comes up.
Yeah, just like a flaming skull. So it kind of leaves it to be ambiguous. And they can figure out what to do, who to you know, play it. And
then when he rises up, he actually embodies Frank Castle.
Yeah, they have the rights for all of those back now.
Oh, yes. I know.
Every single one of the Netflix shows is back in Marvel's little basket at this point.
That would set up Cosmic Ghost Rider just in time for Secret Wars.
All right, let's not build hype. Because hype
that's what we're here for, bro.
False expectations galore.
Watching the subscriber count fall as this video is happening. Oh boy, man! So it's a lot. We just went through like a ton of stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
but that's why they're here.
And I think maybe one of those things will happen.
Yeah, I'd say everything we said, we might get one of those right. So
yeah, sure.
I mean,
why not? Let's go with that.
But either way, it's been a lot of fun trying to piece this together, seeing where we've been right, seeing where we've been wrong. You know, and we're very excited to obviously, we're never going to stop doing these theory videos because our brains don't ever stop. Whenever we see one little tiny Easter egg, we want to blow it into proportion and make something out of it that isn't. Yeah. So you know, these, just because WandaVision is going to be over doesn't mean the theories are going to stop. We're going to do one every week for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then Loki, and all the other shows that come out after that. So I think that'll wrap things up for this one. Guys, if you have a crazy theory that you'd like to share with us, we would love to see it in the comments below.
Do tell.
Please do tell. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on your notifications so that way you never miss another video from us. We will be back next week to discuss a review of the finale of WandaVision, maybe a recap video that kind of goes over some of our favorite things from the entire series and where we think it's going to go from there after that. And then we'll be previewing Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is I think there's like a 1 week break, and then it's right on into that. So
can't wait.
And stay tuned for our dissection and reaction to the Snyder Cut too.
Yes, all 17 hours of it.
Jeez.
It might be multiple videos because I'm gonna have to pee several times during that movie.
Yeah.
We might even have a guest or two for that one. Who knows? We might bring some
knows?
people on to talk about that one. So please stay tuned for the videos that are coming. We can't wait to share them with you. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.